Alright, so our time with the horror is past. We've done some multiplayer stuff. Now it's time to get into some of the weapons that we didn't get the chance to see. Basically, this episode is going to be dedicated to all the weapons that we weren't able to pick up during the game. I'm going to do a little bit of inventory searching just to make sure I have everything, and I'll show off pretty much all of the weapons. I do have doubles of a lot of the weapons because I just like being able to dual-wield things to be silly, but I'll only show that off with particularly funny things to dual-wield. Anyways, it appears we are stuck over here, so let's go ahead and evacuate. Oh, this right here that we have, this is the Beast's Talisman, and it works for casting both miracles and spells, so it's basically an all-around great way to have just a compact spellcasting piece of equipment if you don't want to carry around a catalyst and a talisman. Although it isn't as effective as them, at least I believe so, it's just good for an all-around multi-purpose thing. So, also here's Bior in the Nexus. If you don't have him get killed during the Penetrator fight, he'll appear right here. He'll talk to you, all that good stuff. So.
Do you intend to challenge the king? You may be a great demon hunter, but I fear you may not be ready. The king is defended by the black souls of mighty knights and a fire-breathing dragon. They defeated even myself. That's how I ended up in the dungeon. Beware the limits of your own power.
So yes, that's Bior. He's a very cool guy. He's one of my favorite characters. It's kind of unfortunate he died on our file during the LP, because I don't know, I just really like his voice, mostly because he sounds very similar to Baldwin and Ed.
I can forge weapons for you.
It must be the same voice actor, you know?
No way, I can tell.
But anyways, yes, so
I know.
I will be right back. I'm just going to collect all the stuff we're going to need, and yeah, since I've played through the game so many times, I have a crapload of grasses. I have plenty of supplies over all the time that I've played Demon's Souls, so yeah. But yes, the baby's nail is actually taken from the plague babies in the Valley of Defilement. I don't know if they mention it here. A dagger coated with plague. The blade is curved like a talon, often used by women and children for assassination. Among the various unique weapons, this one is especially sinister. I don't know, it's said that these actually come from the plague babies in the plague swamp in the Valley of Defilement, so bit of interesting backstory there. Crisp blade, primarily used for magic users, because I think it gives them a bit of a boost with that. And for fun, why not? Let's dual wield some large swords of moonlight, just to look completely ridiculous. But yeah, it's pretty fun stuff. Not that this would be very conventional in a battle, but still, it's funny. It's funny to do. It's funny to wield those. Here's the Morian blade, which you get from the Storm King's Demon Soul, if you have the right amount of ores to upgrade a sword and then turn it into this. As I said, if your HP drops below 30%, this drastically increases your attack power. Maybe not drastically, but considerably so. And we have dual Storm Rulers. Again, as I said, they only work in, they only work for their unique effect in World 4.3. So if you want to have them shooting giant gusts of wind, like blades of wind, you have to go there to do it. But otherwise, yeah, this is pretty much their only purpose. Otherwise, they're pretty average sword weapons. So, and then we have two Northern Regalias, which are, as I said before, the Soulbrand and Daemon Brand combined. It has this nice little sort of lotus design on the hilt, which I like. I don't know if it's a lotus design, it may not be, but it's a very nice looking weapon, if you see it here. But yeah, if you have pure white or pure black character tendency, then I think its attack power is 544, but as we are now, it's only at 310, so That's that. Then a particularly popular weapon, thanks to Metroid, aka Infamous Avenger, for actually kind of donating me one of these. Not recently, it was a long time ago, but thanks for donating me one just so that I could have two for this occasion. But yeah, some people will actually dual wield the Dragon Bone Smasher, and all I can say of them is that they are ridiculous and pretty awesome at the same time, so props to them. But yeah, that's the Dragon Bone Smasher. You can actually enchant it. You know, you can use the light weapon on it. You can put turpentine on it, that kind of stuff. What do we have next? Oh yes, and a thing that I like to do every once in a while. I actually have videos of myself using this to kill the final boss, as well as to troll False King Allen. You can dual wield shields in this game, and this is my favorite combination of shields to dual wield. I don't know quite why, but it just kind of reminds me of the Big O. Alright, I got a few of the other weapons, and I actually realized something kind of interesting. I don't have the large sword of searching on my file right here, my main file. So we actually only have the large sword of searching on the horrors file, which is pretty cool. You know, there was something I was able to show off as the horror that I wasn't able to show off on my main file, so that's pretty nice. These are Chotels. Yurt's weapon, in other words. We're just dual wielding them right now. If you hold it in your left hand, you can actually use it as this very interesting parry animation. It's pretty cool looking too. But yeah, I don't know exactly how this changes the timing, if it makes it harder or something, but it looks like a bit of a doozy, so that's enough for the Chotels. We have the blind, as you've seen before. It goes through shields, so that's a rather nice aspect of it. This is a spiral rapier, which we get from as a random drop from the gargoyles in 3.2. There is another gargoyle weapon. It's called the gargoyle crossbow, but I've never actually been able to obtain it. It's kind of weird. I've never been able to find it on a gargoyle archer. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to show that one off, and I don't really feel like grinding it just to find it, so. We have the Needle of Eternal Agony. This is actually what you make with the Mixed Demon Soul. Basically, its effect is whenever you hit an enemy with it, you get, like, 2 souls off of them. You get a very small amount of souls off of your enemies using this, so it's kind of useless, and it doesn't do any damage, really, so. Not something I'd suggest using. Next we have actually 2 crescent axes right here. Pretty big ones. It's pretty funny looking to run around with them. Aside from that, we have the dozer axe, which is just a very heavy, pretty fancy looking axe weapon. I've never really been an axe user, so yeah, this is just, I just have this for show. I have most of these weapons just for show. As you know, I stick to the Blue Blood Sword and the Blue Blood Sword only, but I have all this stuff for the sake of it. Just for the sake of having it, really. We have the Brammed. I can't wield it one-handed on this file, but I can wield it effectively two-handed, so that's the Brammed. I still haven't found a second Brammed, so I can't dual wield them, unfortunately, but you can imagine how crazy that looks, wielding 2 Bramms at once. I can, however, show you wielding 2 meat cleavers at once. This is the meat cleaver you get from the Gluttonous Demon Soul, which you get from the Adjudicator. Not a bad weapon. I think it scales with a few different stats, so you can actually get quite a bit of use out of it if you base your character build up on how he levels up all around these weapons. Then we have the Hands of God, which are gauntlet weapons. I'm not showing off the other gauntlet weapons just because these ones are the coolest. But yeah. Hands of God. Pretty fancy. They're god hands, one might say. Then you have the Scraping Spear. This is the infamous trolling weapon of the game. Basically, this thing can very, very easily break through an enemy's armor and weapons if you hit their shield with it, or if they are wielding katanas. In like 5 or 6 hits, I think it breaks katanas. And for shields, you know, it can break them pretty easily and basically take out all their effectiveness. So it's a very devious weapon. It's a very mean thing to do to another person online, and generally It's just not cool, man. Not something to do. Here's the Insanity Catalyst. The effect of the Insanity Catalyst is basically it takes down your magic level by a lot. Like, if we take it off right here, you'll see we have like twice that amount. Basically, it cuts your magic in half, and in exchange for that, it makes your magic attacks a lot more powerful. So that's pretty much the usage of the Insanity Catalyst. Talisman of Beasts I showed off. Basically lets you cast both miracles and spells off of just one talisman, so that's very nice. Alright, so yeah, let's show off some of the armor sets now. We're gonna start off with the Magician's armor set. This was actually, I think one of the armor sets that I wore when I was starting out the game on like my very first file. The file that I ended up getting rid of because my character was just so underpowered. He looked similar to this guy, just less facial hair. It looked a lot more like Marth, especially with the tiara, but yeah. So that's the Wizard's armor set. Moving along, we have the gold mask. Oh yeah, I don't know if I explained yet, but I wasn't able to get the Rogue's armor set. I believe you get that in the Tower of Latria. I thought you got it off of Mephistopheles by killing her, but that's not the case. You have to actually get it in the Tower of Latria through that Pure White World tendency thing, and I haven't been able to do that on either file, so we won't be seeing that, unfortunately. But yeah, the gold mask is part of that armor set. Next up, we have the Venerable Sage's armor set, just right down here. And here, and here. But yeah, it just basically makes us look like Sage Frake. Sage Frake's armor set. Next up... Well, actually, you know, let's get rid of that one, because I think we have a few others to show off first. We have the Shaman's clothes. Go with the Shaman's armbands, and the Shaman's tabi. I think it's pronounced tabi, but yeah. That's what the Shaman's armor looks like. I used this stuff for a little while, too. I kind of liked this armor set for a little while before I switched off. I think Satsuki actually wears this armor set, so that's that. Although I don't know how much of a shaman he is. He's more of a wandering samurai type of dude. I don't even know. Here's the Saint armor, the Saint Urbain's outfit, of course. And if we go down more, we have the old ragged robes, old ragged gloves, and the old ragged boots. But yeah, what we're showing off right now is the leather armor. Oh wait, I forgot to put on the leather helmet. There we go, leather cap. So this is the leather armor set. I really don't like this armor set that much. It makes you look very silly. You know, especially the hat. The hat looks very dorky. And just the whole armor set just doesn't really come together that well. It makes you look very dorky overall. It's pretty funny. But yeah. And you have the black armor set, or the assassin's armor set. This is, I think, the starting equipment for the thief. It's not bad, it's pretty nice. I actually quite like every part of this armor set except for the mask. I'm not a big fan of the mask. Then we have the binded hood, binded cross, which is just the chest plate area, the binded gloves, and the binded boots. That's Executioner Meralda's armor set. We have the chain helmet, chain mail, chain gloves, and the hard leather boots. I quite like the hard leather boots, but I don't really wear the other parts of this outfit. I'm just not a big fan of it. But yeah, the hard leather boots I'm quite a fan of. They're pretty good. And I believe Scurvier wears a good deal of this. I don't think he actually wears the helmet. But, yeah, he wears a good deal of that armor set. And now we're actually coming on to my starting armor, since I was a Temple Knight when I started out, both times on my main characters. This is the Mirrodin armor, and it's flame resistant. It's pretty nice. It looks very nice, and yeah, just kind of your general thing. Moving on, we have the Dark Silver armor set, which we got from Garl Vinland. Yep. All we need now is the Dark Silver shield, and the Bram, and we'll be good to go. But yeah, then we have the Dull Gold helmet. We have the Dull Gold armor, Dull Gold gauntlets, and Dull Gold leggings. And that's everything that I could carry with me for this run. I do have a few more to show off, so we'll be right back. Alrighty, and lastly, we have these last few bits of armor, the armor sets. We have the plate armor right here. Whoops, forgot to get rid of those. We have the plate armor, which is which can be obtained from the Draggling Merchant in World 1, pretty much at any point there where he appears. Not bad. I don't use it myself, but yeah, I don't know. It's your pretty generic, pretty general armor. I think it's the starting equipment for one of the classes. I can't think of which one, but it's one of the, you know, the knights or the something like that. Knights, guards, something like that. I don't know. Then we have the fluted armor, which is the one that you see on Ostrava and also at the beginning of the game in the intro sequence. As I said, you see the guy with the kite shield and the longsword. Let me just fish that stuff out of there so we can maybe emulate that a little bit. So let's just get a normal longsword. We could get that, and then we'll get the kite shield. And the kite shield is actually the icon for the shield section here, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so we have all that. Equip the kite shield and equip the longsword, and pretty much, I guess you have what would be the introduction videos character, main character, I guess. So yeah, not bad, pretty fancy. Put the stuff away now. And then you have the Gloom armor, which you get from the Silent Chief in the Tower of Latria 3-2. We didn't get to see this on our file for the LP, for the Horrors file, just because I kind of chucked him off a cliff, and then I didn't reload my game, so he didn't get to pick that up. But that's that. Looks pretty intimidating. Good if you're going for some Black Phantom invasions. Granted, you're good with wearing slow-rolling armor. Also, the thing I like about this, two things I like about this, are three things I like about this. Number one, your helmet kind of has like these radio TV antennas sticking out of the head. Second, you have these sort of like claw, it looks like hands reaching out of your shoulders. I just thought that was kind of a funny effect right there. And the third thing, which was the one I was going to mention first, was with his feet. He has like spiked feet. It kind of reminds me of, you know, the Grinch's feet from How the Grinch Stole Christmas, just because his feet are so, like, gnarled and pointed forward. Like, you could kick somebody and really hurt them with those feet. It looks pretty painful. Anyways, moving along, we have the brushwood equipment right here, which is some of the heaviest armor in the game, some of the most protecting, and I think it actually is even more effective in negating flame damage than the Mirrodin armor, so it's very good in that way. Moving along, and yeah, it's also worn by Bjorn of the Twin Fangs, so Ancient Kings stuff. This is the Ancient Kings armor set. We could go on ahead and get the Northern Regalia, and would fit in pretty well, looking like old King Doran, or the Burger King if you prefer. And next up we have, oh, we don't have any more of those. Oh, the Ancient King stuff was the last armor set that we had. Alright, well, then you have the Old Monk's head wrappings, of course, which are always very fancy for any occasion. And then you have the Official's cap, which is my personal favorite. Anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna go on ahead and get my usual stuff on. And just give me a moment here. Alright, so yeah, I put all of that stuff away now. We're actually pretty much done here. So yeah, this is my usual character setup, along with the Blue Blood Sword and the Dark Silver Shield +5. And then I usually keep my white bow on my second slot for the right hand, and then I keep the Talisman of Beasts on the left hand alternate slot. My alternate outfit, which I usually use when I'm invading people, is the Gloom helmet, the Shaman's clothes, and then the Venerable Sage's gloves again, and sometimes I'll use the Venerable Sage's boots instead of the hard leather boots. So yeah, that's kind of my Black Phantom look. Same armor, or same shield and weapon, just different look. I don't know. In fact, sometimes I don't even bother switching. I like to keep two different looks for them. It's not really something I care a lot about. It's just something that I did at some point because I was bored. I was like, what would make me look cool as a Black Phantom? Let's go with some of this. Yes, that looks fancy. So, it's more or less how it happened. But yeah, so put this stuff away, this remaining stuff away. And that's that. So, yeah. I forgot to show off all the spells, my apologies. Alright, so we're gonna start off with all the miracles. Second Chance, I don't know if I've shown you guys. Game actually won't let me show it off, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt. Basically, you cast it and you cannot be killed on your current life bar. You have this sort of, I think, either a blue or a greenish glow around you, and if your health bar goes down to 0, it'll replenish itself to the halfway point. In PvP, that's extremely useful, and a lot of people like to use it, but I don't know, depending on the situation, if somebody does enough damage to you in PvP, which oftentimes they will do, it might not even matter, you know, another 1 or 2 shots and you'll be dead anyways. So, that's that. What do we have next? We have Banish and Anti-Magic Field. Miracles are the work of God, blah blah blah. Banish, I believe, banishes any Black Phantoms within a close range of you. You know, obviously that's pretty much how it works. I don't know how close range it is. I think it's, you know, just kind of within a decent distance. Not very far, but probably something like this, maybe a little bit bigger, around that guy. Then we have the Anti-Magic Field. You cast it, you get the little electrical effect. Basically, everybody in the area is unable to use any magic spells, miracles, or spells, or anything like that, so, yeah. So if this guy over here, I damaged him, and he wanted to cast Heal, he wouldn't be able to. It appears as though it works on range, though. So it prevents you from using magic, but at the same time, if your enemies get out of range of you, they can still use their own magic. So from a very far distance, they can use it. But if an enemy wants to cast Firestorm right in front of you, this is a good way to completely negate that, I would suppose.
Be careful how you...
Alright, so we're finished with the miracles. I am going to show off God's Wrath. But before that, we're going to show off all of the spells, except for Firestorm, which we'll show off as well. So Soul Arrow, I think you guys have seen it. It's just the basic arrow attack. Thank God I didn't hit Yuria with that. Soul Ray, of course, upgraded version of Soul Arrow. Homing Soul Arrow. As you can see, since my magic is a little bit better on this file, I have 3 of these instead of just 1. And if you have an extremely high amount of magic, then you'll cast more like 5, I think is the maximum. So yeah. Then we have Flame Toss, which of course is just a fire attack. And depending on where you're pointing the camera, I suppose you can really actually aim your fire attacks up or down. But yeah. So that's that. Now we gotta go get some more. Alright, we have 3 more flame spells for you. The first one is Fire Spray, which is just kind of a rapid fire sort of a spell. It uses very little magic and does very little damage, but it shoots rapid fire, so that's the primary use for it. And it's just kind of fun to throw around. So that's that. Wasted quite a bit of magic on it. Next we have Fireball. You saw Scurvier the Wanderer use this on us and kick our ass with it. Whoops, might want to throw it a little bit higher. But yeah, it's just a giant fireball, big splash damage range, all that good stuff. So yeah, just a giant fireball. And lastly, we have Ignite, which is more of a touch spell, I guess you could say. It's that spell that the fat officials use. So if an enemy is getting too close to you, you can use this. Very quick startup, actually. I've never used Ignite before. I never saw the use in it, so I didn't really depend on it, but yeah, those are the fireball spells, except for Firestorm. Okay, so next up we have the enchant weapon spell. I'm gonna use it on the blue blade sword just because it's a good sword to show off enchantments on. Just your general enchant weapon spell. Nothing in particular about it that's out of the ordinary. Makes your weapon attack stronger. That's pretty much all the description you should need for that one. Next up we have Poison Cloud. I'm gonna try and do that right in the corner here. Poison Cloud, as the name implies, poisons anybody who goes within the range of the cloud, so that is that. Okay, next up we have Light Weapon, another enchant weapon spell. What is this? I don't know what's going on here. Oh, we just got signed out. That's strange. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. I just got kicked out of my game because the Demon Soul server, I don't know what happened. It just kind of had an error, and it booted me out. Luckily, we're just in here showing off spells, so that's that. Anyways, next up is Light Weapon, which is basically an upgraded version of Enchant Weapon. You can see, you know, just same effect, a little bit brighter, a little bit fancier, does a little bit more damage. Overall, just an upgraded version of Enchant Weapon. So, lastly, in the Enchant Weapon variety of spells, we have Curse Weapon. And as I said, I do believe that it has some slight effect on your health. Yeah, see right there? You can see my health bar slowly ticking down with this. So you have a bright purple hue on your sword. It does do a lot of damage. I believe it may even do more than Light Weapon. So if you're the kind of guy who wants to get the job done fast, I think that this is the best strategy for you. I personally prefer Light Weapon just because I don't like my health slowly draining. I feel like that can turn the tide of a battle if you get too cocky with that, but that's me. That's my preference. Anyways, so yeah, that's it for the enchant weapon type spells. Alright, next up we have Warding, which I'll show you right here. As I said, it's pretty much protection, just the barrier is a little bit brighter. You kind of look like a bubble man or something. I don't know, I always thought it was kind of a funny little design they gave you here. Just a bunch of circles that surround all the parts of your body. So yeah, you're just in a big bubble suit, I guess. Then we have Acid Cloud. This is one of those trolling type spells. Basically, it erodes armor and weapons. So the only purpose of this is to piss off whoever you're fighting against in multiplayer and to break their weapons. So yeah. And then, I'm just gonna replenish our magic a little bit. We have Death Cloud, which casts Plague on your enemy. That is a very devious thing to do, just because Plague is the absolute worst thing you can be afflicted by. Not a lot of people I've seen do this. It's a very effective strategy, of course, but I think most people just kind of agree it's really a dick move and not something you should do in a fair PvP match. Anyways, then you have Relief. This is primarily used for multiplayer with blue phantoms. If they stand in front of you, you heal them using the Relief spell. And it actually uses up very little of your magic bar. See, that's just a little sliver. So that's a nice thing if you want to be a nice person. Help your friends out. But yeah. Alright, I'm back. I just had to take a short break. Anyways, now we have Soul Thirst on us. This one takes up 3 slots, so these are getting pretty expensive to use. But anyways, Soul Thirst works pretty much the same way as the Ring of Avarice. I think I need more magic to use it. Even more magic to use it. Even more magic to use it. There we go. See, that thing uses up a crap load of magic, but basically, Soul Thirst temporarily increases the amount of souls you get from killing enemies. I don't think it doubles it, but it gives you quite a bit more, and that stacks with the Ring of Avarice, and I guess the silver bracelets as well, since I think those all have the same effect. At least I think they would stack. Logically, they would stack, because everything else in the game stacks that has the same effect, but yeah, so it gives you this sort of red aura around you. And I guess it doesn't last that long for how expensive it is. I don't know how worth it that is. Let's go ahead and get Soul Sucker. This is the one. This is the spell that you get from doing the good ending, and by using the Main in Black Soul. demon soul in order to get this spell. Basically, it works the same way as relief. Actually, relief works the same way as this one, since I think this is the primarily used one. It's the more commonly used one. You can use it on pretty much anything, you know, enemies, provided they're tall enough to be stabbed in the back by it. It's kind of like a backstab in the form of a spell. But anyways, you just kind of reach forward a tiny bit and you just kind of pull out souls. It takes a crap load of souls, especially if whoever you take it from is like an important NPC, or if they're like a very excuse me, powerful black demon, or black phantom, not black demon, but something like that. So yeah, primarily it's used for getting souls, and there's actually ways to exploit that. I don't know how. I think it involves whoever gets soul sucked, they immediately leave the game so they don't lose their souls, but the person who gets the souls keeps them, so you can pretty much duplicate souls that way, or you can use a duplication trick and just take a soul that gives you a lot of soul currency and use that. But yeah, so this can be abused, but that's the basic use of it, Soul Sucker. So that's that. Alright, so I promised throughout the LP that I would show off God's Wrath and Firestorm. The primary area I wanted to show them off in was the 2-2 Lizard Pit, but I realized that on my main file I actually do not have access to that right now, and I don't feel like playing through 2-1 because we're just so close to the end. I'm kind of burnt out on Demon Souls, and Dark Souls is out. I actually got Dark Souls, so I'm a little bit more excited to play Dark Souls than Demon Souls. I'm kind of ready to get done with this game. Anyways, ow, that hurt. Yeah, so right here we're going to show off God's Wrath. Woo! Loud. Yeah, it causes quite a bit of lag, especially in here with all the physics objects that just got blown up there. But basically, God's Wrath is the miracle area of effect attack. It's a little bit slower startup-wise than Firestorm. I actually did test that out, and I noticed there was more delay in casting God's Wrath than there was Firestorm. But yeah, as I said before, it's all just one outward explosion, so there's a little bit less of a build-up to it. So if you need like quick, immediate, crazy fire storming, then that's the way to go. Anyways, yeah. And it lasts for quite a bit longer. It doesn't have quite the range, but it's a little bit more damaging, and in general, it kind of looks cooler, you have to admit. So yeah, we'll show it off one more time. It's Firestorm. I guess we'll show off God's Wrath on this fat official. Let's see if we can hit him from behind here. That'll work. Oops. Doesn't seem to be too extremely damaging to the fat official, but yeah, you guys get the idea. So that's pretty much it as far as spells go. That is pretty much it for my main file. All the stuff I could show off to you, I have shown off to you. Probably at much greater length than I needed to. Next time we're going to be going into the lore of Demon Souls with the Demon Souls Compendium. It's mostly going to be just a reading of stuff about Demon Souls in the world. So if you're interested in the lore of Demon Souls, go on ahead and check it out. If you're bored of hearing about the lore of Demon Souls, you're not interested, then feel free to just skip right over it. But that is pretty much going to be our final episode, so if you're going to stop watching here, I thank you all for watching these videos. I hope you enjoyed them in some way, some form, and that's it, so I'll see you all next time.